Donald Trump was pretty stoic in the courtroom. The sketches that were coming out, the people that were on the ground in the room say that he was pretty quiet. Um, so again, it really it could go so many different ways. But now that Michael Cohen is on the stand, this is what we've been waiting for since testimony began on April 22nd.
So, Michael Cohen, we know there's no love lost between him and Donald Trump, although, of course, they used to work very closely, and Michael Cohen used to defend him in all sorts of ways many years ago. What did we learn from Michael Cohen? Was he settling scores, or did we actually learn anything new and useful?
Yeah, so we didn't really know what version of Michael Cohen to expect coming into today. He's been very vocal on social media and sharing his hot takes on the Trump trial on TikTok specifically. He posted one where he had that T-shirt with an image of Trump locked up behind bars, kind of making his stance very clear before he took the stand. So we didn't know if we were going to get that wild coming out swinging Michael Cohen or if we were going to have a more cool, calm, collected. And we did actually see the latter. And we do know that this is the most highly anticipated witness to take the stand. And so today we learned from Michael Cohen, which prosecutors have to take everything he says with a grain of salt due to his history with Trump. But he did say, and I think this is the biggest takeaway from Monday's testimony, is that Trump was heavily involved in everything, in every decision that was made. Michael Cohen says that he did everything at Trump's directing. So, and that includes this hush money payment made to Stormy Daniels on Trump's behalf. So that I think is really the biggest takeaway here. Obviously, again, prosecutors have to take all of this with a grain of salt, given the contentious history between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump. But we know that Trump was involved.
And what about we'll come to Michael Cohen in a second, actually, about his kind of past kind of demeanor. But a leading American lawyer told us last week that there were some concerns that this could actually end up in a mistrial because of the amount of prejudicial information about Donald Trump that has got into court. Is that something that's in the background as a reality? Are people kind of aware of this as a possibility?
I think so. I think, again, the prosecutors really have a tough job. They have to determine who's telling the truth, what actually happened. And given that Michael Cohen's testimony really is the central piece here, I think this is also the trickiest part of the case, is for them to decipher through what Michael Cohen is alleging that is maybe emotion-based. And we did, hear him say today that he had a fantastic time working for the Trump organization, and he called it a big family. And, again, he has been he's been regarded as this fixer to foe kind of persona that he's taken on in Donald Trump's life. So again, there's so much information, and it could be a mistrial. It really depends on what jurors take away from today and from tomorrow when they cross-examine Michael Cohen.
And you said there that Michael Cohen did say he had a great time working for the kind of Trump organization. Now he's obviously very much not radicalized is not the word, but he certainly had a quite the experience in terms of going to jail. How reliable is he, or how trustworthy is his testimony considered?
It's so tough because, again, he is the central witness in this case, and his testimony really will make or break the outcome, whether he provides enough information for prosecutors to win a conviction or whether it results in a mistrial. We don't know. It's really going to come down to what these jurors say. We know they were really listening carefully, taking a lot of notes today. And we also know Donald Trump was pretty stoic in the courtroom. The sketches that were coming out, the people that were on the ground in the room say that he was pretty quiet. So again, it could go so many different ways. But now that Michael Cohen is on the stand, this is what we've been waiting for since testimony began on April 22nd.
Just finally, we know that there is also a school of thought that the New York case, because of the personnel involved, because of the location, it's a very anti-Trump thing. Is that the general perception throughout America?
That's tough. I think it's obviously an election year. There are a lot of really high, intense emotions. Given our current president and Trump's previous presidency, New York City is definitely, it skews blue. But I do think that in the whole of New York, there are a lot of Trump supporters, especially out on Long Island, upstate New York, and in the tri-state area. I do think, based on what we've seen from pro-Trump rallies, that he had a rally in New Jersey over the weekend in Wildwood that drew over 1,000 people. So we know that there are Trump supporters in this region, and all across America, people are stepping up to support him as he looks to secure the Republican nomination in the coming months.
Okay. Caitlin, thank you very much for that. It was really interesting. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Mr. Trump, why do you have lawmakers with you today?
I think it's a terrible thing that's happening to democracy in this country, and we have a lot of them that want to come. I say just stay back and pass lots of laws to stop things like this. And it could have been brought 6 years ago, 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. They bring it right in the middle of my presidential campaign. There is absolutely no problem. There's no problem here. You know, the FEC wrote this off. FEC, the Elections Commission, Federal Elections Commission, they looked at this years ago. And they took a pass. They said there's no problem here. But we have a corrupt judge, and we have a judge who's highly conflicted, and he's keeping me from campaigning. He's an appointed New York judge. He's appointed. You know who appointed him? Democrat politicians. He's appointed. He's a corrupt judge, and he's a conflicted judge, and he ought to let us go out and campaign and get rid of this scam. Every single legal analyst, even CNN, even MSDNC, they're saying, there's no case here. Thank you very much.